In 2007, a game changed everything. BioShock dropped players into the underwater city of Rapture, a crumbling utopia built on ambition, greed, and one unforgettable question. Would you kindly? With its mind-bending story, iconic setting, and deep philosophical themes, BioShock didn't just tell a story, it made you question your role in it. Today we're diving back into Rapture to talk about why BioShock still stands as one of the most important games ever made. Today I'm joined by my partner and we're going to break down everything that made BioShock legendary and maybe even question if it's as perfect as we first remember. Can you tell me why we're talking about BioShock?
I think BioShock came out, I don't know. When I was young, I remember playing on it when I was really young, so I think it's a lot of a nostalgia thing, because when I've replayed it lately, it's still a really good game, but obviously graphics and different things have improved now anyway, but it's still a lot of the nostalgia thing, I think. So
they did was it a remake? They did a remastered version of it, which
they did all three of them.
They did it on Xbox, didn't they? They did it for a free trial. Well, not free trial, but they did it free release for a bit on the Xbox Game Pass, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's the last time we played it anyway. So when was the first time you played BioShock?
I can't remember. I was really, really young, but I remember seeing, even though it had already been released, it had been released for ages, but I'd seen the trailer of it on YouTube because my uncle's really into video games, so I'd pretty much play whatever he was playing and whatever he said to me, have you seen this that's been out for quite a while? And so I ended up watching it and I thought, that looks really interesting. So I remember seeing the Big Daddies in the trailer and I was like, I really want to play that. So I got round to it and I think it took me, bearing in mind I was really young as well, but for some reason I was so much better at video games when I was younger. I think it took me 2 or 3 days to complete it. My first reactions to it, again, I was so young, I can't, all that I can remember is I get very attached to things and quite obsessive about them, and BioShock was a huge obsession. I remember everyone in school.
What made it so obsessive for you? Like, what games were you playing which are similar to BioShock, which you were playing, you picked BioShock and went, wow?
I think it's story and the characters for me. So a game that's not overly similar, but BioShock has horror elements to it, but another game that I was really obsessed with was Silent Hill 2. And I think that's the same, it's the story and the atmosphere, the setting. It's a big thing to do with like the world that's created. So Silent Hill, Rapture, like they've got a lot of atmosphere to them, a lot of background story, like so much history to them that's created for you to unravel.
So I think the first time I played it was, I think, probably about properly all the way through was probably when I first met you, and it was, I think you showed me this game, and then I went through every single game within 2 weeks.
Really? All three of them?
Yeah, and I think I found that the last one, where they kind of changed all the animations of it round from what it first was. It like a more kind of cartoony, like Borderlands kind of cartoons thing. Yeah. I think that was probably one of my more favourite ones.
So you liked the most recent one that came out?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. See, I did like that one, but I missed Rapture a lot. But I really liked how, spoilers, I really liked how you did see Rapture in, do you remember that?
No, it's been a while since I've played it.
Oh, okay, so that's the bit that I really remember because it had Rapture in it. Yeah. I think it's towards it, because I haven't played the last one for ages, so I think towards the end of it, the characters, Booker and Elizabeth, they do end up, I think that they end up going to Rapture. She takes them there when she's trying to get them away from what's going on, and Songbird goes with them. And it's just a really, it was a scene that I really wasn't expecting. And it was very sad as well, because what kind of happens to Songbird. So I really remember
Probably
that
won't discuss
scene.
what happens to Songbird, but... So, I know we just discussed, obviously, about when you first played BioShock, but what was your first thought when you saw the underwater world of Rapture?
So that's obviously quite a big moment in the game when you're revealed to that. So I think, from what I can remember, I was just really enamoured by the whole cinematics of it. It was really cool having this whole underwater city. And I think the biggest thing is the music helps with that. The soundtrack to that game is perfectly tailored to each scene. So for that scene, I can't imagine anyone playing it could forget that scene, even if they don't like the game. So for me, it's a very
Art Deco dystopia.
Yeah.
There's like a bit of steampunky going on.
Yeah, there is. I think that's why it's so cool, because it's steampunky, but then it feels a bit like the sort of music that's playing. It's very like 1950s, 1960s. It feels like Frank Sinatra or something.
Yeah, very kind of, it's very atmospheric.
Yeah,
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
very kind of atmospheric build. I mean, I always remember you'd go down in the lift, and then you'd look out over this Rapture dystopia kind of thing, and you'd look and you'd be like, "Oh, I want to explore all of it."
Yeah,
but then you weren't able to explore all of it as kind of like open world, which kind of wished you to make a kind of open world of BioShock.
Yeah. Well, as you're going down, that's the first time that you hear, and you're introduced technically to Andrew Ryan. So his whole speech and everything as you're going down is amazing. Then as you're going through, you see your first Big Daddy. But the really cool thing is that they're having a worker Big Daddy. So he's not even doing the jobs with the little sisters. He's doing the original jobs that they were tasked to, which was fixing the different part of the areas, and that's the first time that you actually see.
So you just said about Andrew Ryan. So my question for you on that one's going to be, what did you think of the twist of Andrew Ryan?
Oh, I mean, I don't think anyone could be expecting that. That's quite a cool twist, because there is hardly any indication to what's going to happen. I mean, you're shown the tattoos on the wrist and thing throughout, and certain phrases are obviously said throughout the game, but in terms of like Andrew Ryan himself,
certain phrase, which is,
would you kindly? But that whole twist of what's going on and who he. Oh, wait, am I allowed to discuss?
Yeah.
The fact that so obviously he turns out to be your character's father in it, his actual dad. But there's just no sort of. There's slight little indications that Andrew Ryan has got a baby, but they're really clever in how they do it through like these audio tapes and that. And for me, again, I know I've said this 1,000 times, but because I was so young, I don't think I picked up. Maybe other people would have done, but at that time I didn't pick up that we were probably the baby. So yeah, and then yeah. I don't know what else to say
stuck on that one.
Yeah, I'm stuck because I'm trying to remember what my reactions were.
I know which characters you like.
Yeah.
I think we've done a cosplay of you've done a cosplay of one of those characters. So tell me about the characters you like.
Okay, so my favourite characters are the Little Sisters, which I have on a night out for after Halloween. I dressed up as.
What is it that draws you towards the Little Sisters? They're not really a playable character that you play, but.
So, ever since I was little, I think because I'm really into acting and really into horror, when I was little and I'd play these games, my dream role was to always play like a creepy little girl kind of role. So anytime I played a video game that was really cool, really atmospheric and all that, if there was like a creepy little girl character in it, like Fia, Alma and Freya, for example, loved her. They'd always be my favourite characters because I think I was like, oh, I'd love to. That's like the sort of character that I'd like to play. So then nostalgia-wise, as I've gotten older, they've still remained as my favourite characters in sort of video games and that. But I just really like how they've still got that, they look grotesque, but they've still got like that innocence to them. They still sing nursery rhymes and things, and they're protected by these huge big daddies, which they're really not bothered by in like the syringing dead bodies and things, and they're just not bothered by the world around them because of what they've been implanted with.
I think you just said about the big daddies. So what? I know you can play as the big daddies. What did it feel like when you're playing a big daddy in the game?
Oh, in the first one, this is really, really cringe, but I think, obviously with the way that I am when I was younger, I think I shed a slight tear.
Because you were able to play as the big daddy.
Yeah, I was really...
I mean, it's a bit of a spoiler, isn't it? From the start, I don't think you are a big daddy, and then you evolve into one, don't you, through...
No, so basically what happens is, obviously, you play Jack, and in order to be able to progress throughout the game, and you need to go around with a little sister for a slight portion of the game and protect her as the splicers come around. You have to acquire the Big Daddy suit in order to be able to do that. So you have to go through the changes to essentially become one, but you're not one in the sense where your mind's been completely
So how
altered.
do you essentially become one in the game?
So that portion of the game, you go around and you grab different bits of the armour and have, like, I think you even have your voice box changed, for example. And
because I know there's one of them, don't you? You have to inject something, you get these powers.
So in all of them, you inject with Eve, which is the powers that you get. So that's not just Big Daddy portion, like that's all the characters in the game. That's what all the characters are obsessed with.
What's your thoughts on having them powers versus obviously the shooting mechanics of the game versus having the powers? Was it even? Which one would you rather do? Would you rather be shooting or would you rather be using the powers?
Do you know what? It's probably one of the first games where I've actually used those mechanics the way that they were meant to be used, and I think it was a good balance. In most games, I would just rather play it simple and just shoot and try and get through it. But I think in BioShock, because of how easy it was to switch between the two and how it worked, if you saw like a splicer in water, for example, quickly use an Electra bolt to shock them dead instantly.
So
or
it's a bit of a tactics strategy.
Or you'd shock them and then shoot. And so that was probably one game that I can think of where I actually did use the fighting mechanics to, I think, how the developers wanted people to use them.
Would you say that made the game more difficult or did it make it easier?
I personally didn't find BioShock too hard. I mean, I played it that many times that I became so skilled at it that I could complete the game very, very quickly.
Esports. You reckon you could do esports with BioShock?
Yeah. I don't know on hard. I mean, I have done it on hard mode, but on just the normal setting, I can fly through it with hardly any damage and that. I know exactly how to use it. I don't run out of ammo and things. And yeah, I am pretty
What was the exploration like on BioShock when you played it? I know I've said at the start about I kind of wish that you can kind of go outside more. Explore Rapture a lot more.
I think what's good, particularly with the first game, is they do have so many areas that you can explore and they all feel quite differently and they're so memorable. So when you go to like the medical quarters and then you meet like the doctors and things and how they are like that, they're, even though they all have this very similar, like you said, like steampunk Art Deco style, each area feels quite unique to itself and it has its own sort of vibe. So like when you go to the gardens and things, it has its own sort of feel. So I do think even though it would be great to have an open world where you explore all of it, I do think they did very well at making sure that you explored enough and that you felt like each area was a different part and there was lots of levels to it. So
how would you say that BioShock has aged now? The games that we've got today coming out. I mean, we've had Atomfall, which is a game which they were kind of putting up against the BioShock, which I think I've seen a load of videos where it's been labelled Britain's BioShock, basically.
Really? Oh my! I've not seen videos like that, so I actually need to
want to have a look at. But like I say, how do you think the impact of BioShock 2007 has had an impact on the game world now?
I think it's had a huge impact. I think it's a lot of when you listen to like a lot of developers and that, a lot of them mention when they're talking about their inspirations. I think a lot of the ones within this sort of theming and genre, a lot of the ones that always come up is BioShock, Silent Hill, Resident Evil. So yeah, the storylines and how much you could see how much the developers like had passion into the world and the stories and that. So I think it's impacted gaming a lot, and I also think that it still holds up, especially the remastering. I think it still holds up very well. I can play it now and still.
What do you think in particular, though, has had that impact on gaming up to 2025?
I think the storyline is probably the biggest thing, because games now I think do hold up to films almost. It's like you're playing through a film. I used to always say that I much preferred playing a video game to watching a film, because especially when they've got a good storyline, it feels like you're in the film and controlling the film. So I think BioShock has had a big impact on storylines and undigging backgrounds and things, because a lot of games now are very cinematic and have good storylines. However, I think because there is an abundance of them now, they are all very good, but I don't think they have that same... Again, this might be nostalgia talking, but I don't experience many games now where I had that same feeling when I first played like BioShock, Silent Hill 2. As I was playing them, I was like, wow, these are amazing. And still now when I play through them and I think to myself, is this just because it was back then? Will I still get that same feeling now? And I do, really. Like the last time that we played it, as soon as I heard like the credits playing and the music and that, I was like, oh, I love this game.
So would you recommend it to new players?
Yeah, I think even if you've not played many games, or you've played lots of very recent games that obviously have great cinematics and great shooting styles and things, I still think you'd really enjoy BioShock. I don't think it's too dated in itself.
What's your favourite memory from the game? Your favourite line or the favourite memory?
Probably when you do first meet the little sister and big daddy, and the splicers are about to get you, and then they hear the big daddy and they're like, oh no, we've got to go. And then the little sisters come over. I think she says, look, Mr. Balls, it's an angel. I think that's my favourite line.
Interesting. So with that, that's a wrap, and that's our dive into Rapture. We found that BioShock isn't just a game, it's an experience that stays with you long after the credits roll. Let us know in the comments what your favourite memory, moment or quote is from BioShock.